Hello and welcome to Premodern Mono Black Clerics versus ALUREN. Now this is my actual list. The deck is trying to just abuse the synergy between clerics and speed everything out with ritual effects. This is my actual list. This is not my actual list. I don't have it in word form. You just need to switch unearths for some more disruption and wastelands for ports. Similarly, I don't have the opponent's ALUREN list, but this is a stock one. It's going to use ALUREN and creature combos to just infinitely recur a bunch of stuff. If you'd like to find out more about any pre-modern decks, please check out my YouTube channel. It's just all about deck techs. So going into game one, opponent's on the play with a gemstone mine. At this point, I have no idea what he could be on because a few decks could start with this. I just start with a turn 1 Dark Supplicant. This is the cleric that allows me to sacrifice 3 clerics and search for Sign of Darkness. Usually you'd want to start with some kind of disruption. It's been a while since I played this matchup, but I seem to remember that my hand was just a very, very good hand that you will get to see part of later. And it wasn't necessarily prepared for every matchup, but I just decided to keep it because of what it had going on. Also, I'm trying to finish this video in one take just so I can try and get videos out there a bit more. So apologies if I'm umming or ahhing or stuttering or anything. Now, opponents played a modern version of Wall of Roots. I still have no idea what he's on, but I've definitely narrowed it down a bit here. So it could either be some kind of full English breakfast combo or ALUREN. So I decide that I need to take him off mana, I snuff out his creature and just attack for 1. And I think here what I probably should have realized, but actually I was quite sick when I was playing this matchup. So it did take me a while to kind of do everything and figure everything out. I think maybe I should have figured out what he was on at this point. I tapped the forest down because, either of these decks, they genuinely want green mana at the start. So I'm going to be forcing him to use the gemstone mine for green. And, when those counters are gone, it's dead. And you can see that's exactly what happens here, as he does have to use it for green. So I think at this point I should have had him on ALUREN, because if he had a survival of the fittest, then he probably would have played it by now. That doesn't necessarily mean he's not on full English breakfast, but I think, at this point I probably should have realized. Again, because I was quite sick when I was making this, when I was playing this game, I wasn't necessarily thinking straight, I think. So again here, I do cast Cabal Therapy. Apologies that maybe this video is taking a while, because really in this matchup, I was just taking forever to think about what I was doing. So I went for survival because I just thought maybe that's more likely than ALUREN. ALUREN was going to be my second choice, and unfortunately that was wrong for the reasons that I said before. So here I think if he can play ALUREN and then untap, he might actually just have the win there, because he has the Cavern Harpy already, and then he has a tutor to get the other piece that he needs to just draw his entire deck. So I realized, I definitely need to do something here. So I'm going to attack for 1 and then immediately, should see it here. So I guess I'm thinking about porting to keep him off ALUREN, but I just decide, that's too greedy. So I immediately play a creature and sack it to flash the therapy back and take that ALUREN. And you can see here me porting the gemstone mine was really good because it now only has 1 counter, and he was forced to use it for green. So getting Academy Rector and sacking the gemstone to play a wall. So it definitely feels good to take that land out. This matchup is kind of about managing time and resources, and small things like this, they can make a difference to who wins or not. So I believe at this point I was very low. I don't think I had any disruption. So now you'll see why I kept my starting hand. It has Cleric into Rotlung. So this is just really, really strong. And especially with the sack Cleric to sack them all in a second, that I just put more than 10 powers worth of stuff on the board. And that's going to end the game very quickly, assuming that I don't just immediately die here, which given my opponent's mana situation, I feel fairly confident. So he plays Raven Familiar to search for a card. Because he didn't play a land, and because I saw his hand before, I'm pretty sure he's looking for land here. And you can see he immediately plays a land. So at the end of turn, I sacrifice 3 clerics. I opt to keep the Rotlang in play because Rotlang is just a really, really good card. And yeah, gonna get the Scion here. This is one of the matchups where Scion really shines because he's actually playing a lot of early creatures that have effects like Wall of Roots that can draw a card. Wall of Roots that can add mana, Wall of Blossoms that can draw a card, Birds that can tap for mana. So there's quite a lot of useful stuff I can actually get from him. So now I'm going to untap and take my turn. So he's blocking here and blocking 2 and taking 10 damage. So that's going to put the trigger for my Scion on the stack. It's dealt damage to him, so I get to return something. So I'm going to return the Raven Familiar. This is just obnoxious because it has Echo, I'm not going to be able to pay it. It's going to die every turn, meaning I'm essentially going to get an impulse every turn, even if our opponent can survive. So, I haven't adjusted the life totals here yet, although I should have done that. Again, I was sick and I guess I just got carried away with the free impulse that I'm getting here. So yeah, I take that one and it's a duress. So you can see this is just huge. He hasn't really drawn anything that kind of changes things because the tutor, it's just another tutor. Presumably, he could have already got anything that he needed with the first one. I take the Diabolic one because I do think it's better here. It can get ALUREN. But yeah, I think our opponent is really on quite a fast clock here. In upkeep, I port the blue-black land. I don't think it actually makes too much difference because, well, I suppose it does. Maybe he has some more things that maybe it would force him to tap the bird to cast. So opponent just thinking for a while and yeah, decides to concede. The beatdown is just too much and he didn't have the mana. So I brought in 2 copies of Dystopia. I should have definitely been playing 3 in my sideboard, but unfortunately I wasn't. I only had 2. And Engineered Plague, which can completely stop him from comboing out, as it can kill the creature the second it comes into play. Sideboarding out, I actually don't remember exactly what I took out because I was sick and I played this one a while ago. I think I took out some of the more clunky and slower cards in favor of Engineered Plague, which I felt could just stop the combo from going off. So yeah, sorry, I can't remember exactly. And game 2, opponent is on the play and starts with Cabal Therapy. So here he thinks and he immediately names Rotlang Reanimator. So I believe he's asking me what the name is of. He describes what the card does, but it's essentially he's saying Rotlang Reanimator. And unfortunately he gets one. You can see my hand there would have been really good if I'd gone first because I have Dark Ritual into Ritual Cleric, which would have gone into Rotlang and just, put a lot of power on the board, 4 power on turn 1. Here I think of it and I think, should I play this Dystopia or not onto an open board? And ultimately I decide that I probably should because it can just slow him down so much and this combo matchup it's going to be about speed. So in the end I do go for that. I think my life total doesn't really matter. Either I've won or lost, he's going to combo out or he's not. He's not going to be able to beat me down through my stuff. And you can see here he's thinking about playing a wall or playing something. At least it feels that way, maybe not. But he immediately plays Living Wish instead. And so yeah, I take my damage from Dystopia. I'm not sure if this was the right play or not. You can let me know what you think. I just felt, it would definitely stop him from playing any annoying walls like Wall of Roots or something like that. And I do feel that mana is going to be the thing that stops me from winning in this game. Well, by mana, I mean him not being able to play his stuff fast enough. So yeah, it does feel like it's worth it to stop Wall of Roots, but you can let me know what you think. And here we have a deed. So here, the Dystopia, it's forcing him to sacrifice the deed. So not the best, but I mean, at least I got some value from it. Otherwise, the deed would have just sat there, it would have just been really, really annoying. So it's sort of like a kind of time walk there because it just completely taps him out. He can't do anything. End of turn, I tap his land. I mean, doesn't make any difference, but I may as well. Yeah, here, and Brain Freeze. So presumably I think he sided that in. I don't think ALUREN decks usually play that. Just an alternative way to win when you've kind of played your creature and bounced it loads of times. And yeah, Cabal Therapy is perfect here because he's stuck on white mana. So he can't play the Rector that he cheated for. Because he has the Cabal Therapy in his graveyard, the second the Rector comes into play, it's going to be immediately sacrificed. So I was quite lucky there. He didn't have the white mana. But saying that, his deck is quite light on white mana in general. So it's not super surprising that he didn't have the white mana. Yeah, and here we're just passing into draw or go as maybe I took a mulligan, I can't remember, but yeah, I've just not drawn what I needed off the top. So just continuing to tap him down there. I actually, in my hand, I believe I have Dark Ritual and Scion of Darkness. So I'm 1 mana short, I think, from casting it. Because I believe it costs 8. So yeah, you can see here I just slam the Swamp, and then Dark Ritual, and then Scion. So this is going to just be really good if it can hit him. He does have a few turns of blocking it with multiple walls to stop it from dealing damage to him. And I mean, at worst, it's just going to be slowly killing those walls. So at least it's going to take him off some mana. So ultimately, he does decide to take away the Plague. Perhaps I should have played it. Perhaps it was greedy. He can't combo off if I've got a Plague in play. So, maybe I should have played it earlier. So here, I think he probably should have blocked. It seems like maybe he didn't, because he's getting the Rector. And I think we're talking about how Rector works. So I can exile it when it dies and search my deck for an enchantment. So obviously we know I have Engineered Plague. I also have Dystopia as well. So I'm thinking about if I want to flash back the Cabal Therapy here, which I think I do, because Dystopia, it's good enough on this board. So I've cut a bit out here because we spent a while talking about how this works. And ultimately I got the Dystopia into play and then got rid of the Cavern Harpy, and then pass to him. In his upkeep, he has to sacrifice a creature, so he sacks a wall, and I'm going to tap down probably the 2 or 3. I've got 3 ports now, so yeah, I'm tapping all the blue mana. Okay, so he has a Rector of his own here. Here, I think I actually do make a play mistake. I think I should have just sacked the Dystopia, because he's on a high enough life total that and he has blockers. So as soon as he sacrifices the Academy Rector, he's going to get. I think he's going to get ALUREN, but there's obviously loads of stuff that he can get. So yeah, he chooses to block here. I think I played this wrong as well. Probably what I should have done is maybe killed the Rector and then tried to bring it back with Scion. Pretty sure that's how it works, as damage will happen, and then when the damage happens, it puts the trigger to return a creature. So I think that's how that works. So it could have got me. Oh no, I suppose that couldn't work because he exiles it upon its death. So yeah, that wouldn't have worked. And he gets Form of Dragon, and I was just totally not expecting the Form of Dragon at all. So I am just thinking, oh dear, I've thrown this game away now because of this. Yeah, my deck does still have some ways out of this though, so I don't want to concede, because yeah, I do have some ways out. So I choose not to pay for Dystopia because that gives me an extra turn. And in my hand, I have a Dark Ritual. So I have some stuff in my hand, and it's just kind of like a race to see if his form of dragon can kill me first, or if I can draw exactly what I need. And you know, the opponent here, he's not so familiar with this cleric deck, and there's some cards in it that he maybe forgot and he didn't see in game one. So maybe he forgot those existed, and we're going to see what happens in a second. So this is the card that allows him to draw a card anytime a beast comes into play. So that's one of his combo pieces. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I can somehow get him low enough on life with City of Brass as well. But unfortunately, it seems I can't quite figure out how to do it. Like, it seems like I'm just short with the cards in my hand. If you know the deck I'm playing, you might know the card that I have in my hand. But I have to wait because Form of Dragon can it can deal 5 to anything. So if I just play the thing, then he can just immediately kill it, and then I can't win. So I'm really trying to play to my outs here. So here I'm trying to figure out if there's a way for me to somehow in the end step get him below 5. I'm not sure if that is possible with how Form of the Dragon works. In the end, I don't think it ends up mattering anyway because I drew the card that I needed. I just needed any cleric, and then I've got the game. So I've got Dark Ritual, and here because I was sick, you know, I'm kind of like getting confused with the mana and everything. So I'm kind of sorry if this is painful to watch and takes a while. So I'm generating a ton of mana with Dark Ritual into Dark Ritual creature. And yeah, perhaps you can figure out what's going to happen in a second. So I'm cutting, yeah, all of these. And then I have enough mana left over because I have some floating to sack them all and drain him for 6, killing him. And yeah, this is how we get around Form of the Dragon. So if you've enjoyed this, please do like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate the support. Mono Black Cleric wins 2-0. Thank you for watching.